right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Behind the Rise. In 2022, I went from 400 to 320 three times in a year. He looked me in the eye and said, hey, listen, like, I respect you. He said, but I don't fully respect you.
They think that America cannot fall. It's our duty as citizens and Americans and people of the platform to start speaking.
Focus on the things that matter. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Behind the Rise. It's 2024. It's January. We're going to talk a little bit about 2023, some of the lessons that were learned last year and some of the things that we're going to be doing this year and some of the things that we're going to adjust going into 2024. We ask that you guys share the episodes, share when you get value. If you guys are liking what you're hearing, like, comment, share with your friends. That's how we grow the show. So let's get right into it. So Costa, what did we have on the agenda today?
First up, we got, what were some of your biggest lessons from 2023?
So, I mean, specifically, we'll get into specifics, but like my new philosophy is when we look back to what happened in 2023, I took like a day or two and I basically like, okay, this is what we did wrong. Like really try to like analyze it but don't dwell on it. Just analyze it so you can adjust moving forward. And then I also looked at like what we did good. So somebody actually reached out to me on January 1st and they were like, hey, what were your biggest accomplishments in 2023? And I literally couldn't give them an answer. Like off the top of my head, I was like, nothing. Like it was shit, I felt like. But then I started thinking, I'm like, wow, there was a ton of accomplishments, And that like moment of reflection I thought was important. Like it made me feel better. Like if you actually think for the entire year, all the great things that happened, there was a ton of them, But sometimes you get lost in the day to day and you don't really, recognize that until you take a moment and think. So, that was like a new revelation. So look back, see what you did wrong, what you can adjust for this year, and start going. Then the other thing that I realized is that time is fucking flying by. And we're not getting any younger.
Dude, I graduated college 10 years ago. 2024. I graduated in 2014. I cannot get over that.
Yeah, dude. Like I was looking back, like, because like one of the things that happened in 2023 that I'm happy about, one of the accomplishments that I'm pumped about is I'm getting my fitness like journey like rolling, right? So like I'm eating right, I'm exercising every single day. I didn't wait till the first of the year to do it. I've been into it probably for the last like 4 months, like hard, like haven't missed a day. And one thing that I realized, I was going back in pictures, right? And I have this app on my phone that has a scale like that, like tracks your weight every time you weigh in and like it connects to the app. Dude, it's been like 3 years. I've been like trying to get down under 300 pounds, right? And you can see this friggin' trend where I'll go from 400 down to like 320, 330, then back to 400, then back to 320, up to 400. Dude, I looked in 2022, I went from 400 to 320 three times in a year.
That's crazy.
That
right?
Can't be good for your body.
No, dude, that's why my metabolism doesn't know what's going on, right? So like, I know I'm not alone in that. Like a lot of people, the more I like talk about it, the more people like, maybe not as extreme, but they go up and down. Big time yo-yo guy.
Consistent.
I'm a yo-yo guy too. I shit on you all the time, but I'm a yo-yo.
Yeah, no, you have the same genetics as me,
it's
buddy.
just on a way smaller scale. Like I'll go from like 215, 225, 210 to like 230. Like I'm like back and just again smaller scale.
Right. So one of the lessons that I learned was like you gotta, and I look back and I'm like, Jesus, if I just, when I started this 3 years ago or 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, whatever it was, and just stayed straight consistent, even if it wasn't perfect all the time, but just stayed consistent, I would be well past the goals that I had and beyond.
Or even plateaued, as long as you don't go backwards.
Exactly. Like if you have a day and you're plateaued, it's better than going backwards. Like if you're not moving forward, you're losing. Like if you're not at least staying at that point. But like my mentality was before, if I had like one bad day, it would like one bad meal, it would turn into a bad day, that would turn into a bad week, then a bad month. The next thing you know, you're back to where you were and you're fighting like hell to get back down again. And it's harder every single time. Like this time, it's been so hard to lose like a single pound, like way harder than it used to be, right? Like I don't think I could do it 3 times in a year anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like something happened when I hit a certain age that it's way, way harder, like that everybody talks about, and it's real. So every time it's like you got to fight back. So one of the things that I realized is like consistency is better than like extremeness for short periods of time. You know, it's better to be
The
consistent.
tortoise. It's a classic. Tortoise and the
Yeah,
hare,
exactly. Tortoise versus the hare. So I'm the hare, like woo, absolutely perfect. Won't even touch anything, and then the minute I do touch something, you're off to the races again.
And it's the temperature thing that Ed Milet talks about. So it's
Right.
like, your
my
tempo
thermostat is set to like a cool 62. I mean,
Exactly.
like 68, like just fucking.
So anyone who doesn't know that theory, it's pretty much like whatever you think that you are. So let's say you think you're at like a 68 thermostat, like you'll lose all this weight, but if you still think of yourself at that temperature, like eventually you're just going to go back to where you envision yourself at that weight or whatever that milestone is. So it's like if you set it at 68, it's just always it doesn't matter if you go hotter or colder, you're always going to gravitate towards that medium of 68, whatever it's set at.
Right.
It's interesting. I mean, it's so fucking true. A lot of it has to do with your self-image of yourself and how bad do you really want it. You're really willing to sacrifice, like, to get to that point. It's interesting.
Right. And having that mindset of just like consistently, like no matter what, get it done. And I'll tell you, in 2023, somebody said something to me that kind of like sparked this like new like mindset, like angle to look at it. It's somebody that I respect. He's in a group that I'm in, and he looked me in the eye and said, "Hey, listen, I just want to let you know that like I respect you as like a business person, as like a family man, and like you have everything going for you, like with business, like you're smart, you're everything." He said, "But I don't fully respect you." To my face, I don't fully respect you because you can't control like what you eat and like how you exercise and like consistently, and that is what's holding you back from reaching like the next level of your personal goals, right? And that hit me like that. It's stuck in my head, and I needed to hear that, and that's why people say surround yourself with people who are better, who are like you or better than you, have the same type of goals as you, because none of my like friends from around here would ever say that to me, and they're all like, "Oh, you're doing great, you're doing this," but they don't know like truly to be great what it takes,
Yeah.
So to hear that from a peer is like, whoa! It hit me in the face, and it was the best thing that's happened. So I'm very grateful for
Took
that.
a lot of balls for him to say that.
Yeah, man.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine that, looking someone in the face, being like, "Hey, great guy, I just don't respect you. You're too big."
Yeah,
Whoa.
I don't fully respect you, and that's what's holding you back. And I've always known it. That's what's has always held me back. But I was always like make excuses and like you play tricks in your own head. But for someone to say direct shot, eye contact, I don't fully respect you because of that. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's tough. I literally snapped last night after we went to a show and it was late and I was tired and my friends wanted to go to Sonic and get like some ice cream. I'm just like, we're not going to Sonic. Like you guys don't eat ice cream. We just ate like massive steaks. And I literally just like snapped at one of my friends. I was like, you don't eat ice cream, like you fat fuck. Like shut up.
Shut up, you bitch.
And he's like, whoa. And I felt bad because I used to be fat and like I purposely don't say that to people because I used to be, but like now he's literally like said to me after too, and like today, first I apologize. He's like, "Shut up, dude. I know you're kidding, but whatever." But like, I'm actually gonna give him a meal plan now to follow. So he's like, "I'm sick of like, it's annoying." So, kind of worked at the same time.
Right. So you're that person for that kid in this moment.
I think something else in 2023 that happened is really being focused and dialed in on the things that are working, kind of doubling down on the things that are working. Like 2023, for us, an example, like we opened up another restaurant, right? Our other 2 restaurants worked well. We could do a ton of different stuff, and it's almost like hinders us a little bit because we could do so much because we have so much experience between like real estate and business and e-commerce and service. Like we could do anything, and that kind of hinders us a little bit because there's so much we could do.
Yeah.
And we could execute very, very well. And we know there's a lot of margins and make tons of money, whatever. But I don't know. I feel like this year I really realized to like tailor that kind of rabbit in my head to go grab like all this shit and say like, let's just triple down on what we're doing and what we're good at and just fucking ride with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, knowing when to say no is a big one. That I think a lesson that we learned from 2022 and 23, and and where to focus. You only have a certain amount of time. Like I'm very particular where I spend my time right now. Like if it's a waste of time, like I won't do it, and that's part of that, right? Like like the entrepreneur in you and like the competitive side of you thinks like you can do anything, and that's part of our strength, but at the same time, it could be a weakness too if you don't know how to control it. Because we start looking at an issue or a business plan or something, and we start immediately putting all the pieces together. Like, yeah, I know we could figure this thing out for sure. There's no question about it. But is it worth the time to do it, and is it worth taking away from what we're good at?
And I think the other thing is we have to focus on, or things we realized last year is like we have to focus on things that are aligned with our goals. And if our goals is we have to make more cash flow this year, if our goals is to do that, we have to do what that is and kind of follow that whole.
Yeah.
Not like, okay, but right now we have a lot of things for long-term exit strategies. Like we have our long-term plays, but it's okay to, build some cash flow along the way too, follow that whole.
That's why it's so important to have those like type C goals that like, those like fuck you dream type of goals. Like what do you, and it can't just be like, oh, I want $1 billion and a $10 million house. Like for me, is that even a goal? You know what I mean? It's like, but is it though?
It is.
Because what are you doing though to get to that? I mean, maybe it is a goal for somebody, and then I guess what you're doing every day is just doing whatever you possibly can to get money, and it doesn't matter how it happens, but all you care about is the financial part. So I guess it is a goal. Yeah. But being clear on what you want to get to changes what you're doing daily, right? Like it changes every single decision you make daily, weekly, quarterly, whatever. And I think this year you're right. Like after we tried a lot of shit in 2023, like it was like the last hurrah. Like we sprayed everywhere we possibly could. Like we dipped our toe in everything. And that's why I think Tino's, we're getting the feeling like, okay, now that we've seen everything, it's kind of like, we've tried it all. We've gotten a good look at everything, and we're just going to kind of focus in and pick our path, and we can be really picky choosy about anything that's outside of that. And if we do, it's going to be with people that match our intensity as far as, type of person and people that we want to partner with and do things with. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the people, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant, is like dialing in on things that we know worked and it's under our control, and we have it from front to middle to end. Like we know that whole roadmap, what it looks like. We know what the dollars look like. Like we know exactly what we're doing. I think sometimes people get, or we get lost in the shiny dollar, like anyone, right? Like we work our fucking dicks off.
Yeah, see, for you it's the shiny dollar. For me it's like the challenge. Like
whichever.
I get lost in that.
Whichever.
I get lost in that. I don't even look at the money. I look at like just trying to figure it out.
Right. This year we almost got into a really stupid one because of that.
Right.
Just because we wanted to prove that we could do something stupid.
Exactly.
It wouldn't have had like any benefit besides a time sucker,
Yeah, so I think that was probably our biggest lesson. I think 2024 has a lot of upside, and I hope a lot of other people think that way too. 2024 has a lot of upside. It's a little weird year because of an election year, but I think there's just a lot of upside. Like we're in a good place to make a lot of good decisions.
A lot of people who are, they're optimistic for this year, and so are we. A lot of people. There's one side of the coin that everyone's like, this is the year that it's going to be like chaos and like everything fucked up, but the other side is it's like all the work that's been put in. I think we've been through the worst of what's been going on. This year could be a big turnaround. The rates are starting to go down, right? Mm-hmm. It's an election year, so they're going to try to make Biden look good and drop the rates leading up to the election.
Right. It's been a tough stretch of time, dude. Think back to it started with COVID in 2020.
I know.
2021 was still COVID. 2022 starting to come out of it, right?
Yeah.
2023 just happened. Inflation, all the after effects of COVID, and still feeling it, right? Like this year feels like, okay, we're finally going to get back to some kind of normalcy. And if you were putting in the work during those years and planting the seeds and doing all the right things, I think that's why people are optimistic. The people who have been doing the right things for the last 3 years feel good about this year because it's like, now it's time for those things to sprout.
And if you're a business or service or person, sales, whatever you're in, or whether you work for somewhere else, if it grew in 2023, I think that shows a lot. Yeah. Because 2023, again, was a very odd year. So if your business grew, that should give you a good, confidence booster going into 24, because that was a really odd year to grow. And if you did grow, if you look at your year over year and you're up 30, 40, 50, 100, whatever percent, I think you should feel like you're in a good place going into 24.
Yeah, for sure. And then God willing, we have a good election this year. And then potentially the next 4 years from there are going to be
I
good.
don't give a fuck. Fuck Biden, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is our podcast. We can say what we want. Biden is the worst president in U.S. history. You need someone like Trump or someone on the red side. I don't care anymore. What's happening is fucking out of control. And if we care about America first, if we actually care about the future of our kids, because this next 4 years is so important.
Yeah, honestly, if you can look at how the country's been running for the last 3
It's
years,
shocking.
and you think that that's better than it was with Trump, then you are delusional. I'm sorry, you are.
You have an
You are.
you have an
You're
ailment.
delusional.
You have an ailment because you don't like Trump so much.
No, it's Trump derangement syndrome. You know, if I don't care if it was somebody else saying the same things, or that did the same things as Trump, but in a less divisive way, he would have been gone down as the greatest president in the history of our country.
100%.
Like, if somebody else was running on the same platform and was as popular or whatever, I would vote for him. I don't care if it's Trump or somebody else. But the point is that his policies is all I care about. I don't care about all the other bullshit. All I know is that when he was a president, there was no wars, there was no inflation, gas prices were less than $2 a gallon. Everybody was prospering. Didn't matter if you were white, black, Hispanic. Every single culture was doing better. And our stance on the world stage was a million times better than it is now. We were that'll pay him.
Yeah. So
It's literally ridiculous. So I don't know. I'm sorry if we offended anybody, but
I don't give a fuck.
I'm not sorry, but it's really it's to the point now where you have to think with your brain, okay, and you can't think like an idiot. I don't know how else to say it. Focus on the things that matter, okay? Those what Trump's talking about are things that actually matter. Everything else what they're saying on the other side is all a distraction to distract you from the things that actually matter. And it's crazy.
My last statement on it, because I could go on for hours on this stuff, is it's just so clear. Trump wanted to protect, if you just look at this policy alone, Trump wanted to protect the border because he wants to keep our culture our culture. The past 3 years, Biden let in 12 million, okay? 12 million people through the border undocumented. And he has an issue with Texas trying to put a border up. Why? He's trying to give Newsom in California free health care to illegal immigrants. Why? People have to start asking, why, how and why is this America first?
No, people think he was racist for saying,
because we want a border.
Go ask any immigrant who they're going to vote, who they would vote for. And 90% of them are going to tell you Trump. And they're the ones that were supposedly attacked. We have a lot of immigrants around us, right? We're immigrants. Everybody that works with us are immigrants. If you go around and ask everybody, they'll tell you that Trump, because that's who they would vote for. Because back in their countries, the ones that they fled,
Or Democrats.
they see the same exact rhetoric that's coming from the Democratic side, and they know what's best for the country. Whether
that's people who have been here for a while too. The ones who all they care about is just getting in and getting their family in, like newcomers, they might.
Nah,
that's-
dude, I don't know,
it's-
man.
No, yes, because that's why they're doing this. They're trying to get undocumented people to be able to vote with no voter IDs. So that's 12 million votes of people trying to vote for their family. They don't give a
Right.
shit about America. They
And if
want to
they
care if their
just
cousin
came-
comes.
Exactly.
With an open
they
border.
just came. They still have family
Yeah.
there that they want to come to. That, it's priorities. Like that's what they care about.
Yeah, no,
Can't
it's
blame
true.
them.
No, I don't blame.
But
for
the
that,
ones who have been here a long time,
They're the ones who say
people
it.
around
The
us.
biggest issue
Exactly.
is that the entitled Democrats are the people that look at that way, and the liberals, they think that America cannot fall. They have to take a good look at history and the Bible and anything that you look at. Big empires fall, and they fall fast.
Mhm.
It's always with greed and leadership. The Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, look back in the Bible in Egypt. All of it, it comes from a couple bad, even Argentina, a couple bad leaders. Takes 2 terms.
Yeah,
to
it
take
does
down
feel
the
like
country.
this next
Yeah.
one. It's like if
The
we
US
don't turn
If the U.S.
ship,
dollar crashes with
fine.
the BRICS and all this stuff, because the reason why that's happened, because they don't fear the leader that we have. If all that continues, the U.S. will fall. We will not be the leader we were. And then that's when the liberals and the woke will start to be like, oh, now our dollar isn't worth shit. And
No,
then they'll
they
start to
still
complain.
won't give
They
a
know,
shit.
what,
still-
they know
they
what they're
still-
doing. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing.
No, the politicians do, but the people who think that they're voting righteously because they're trying to stand up for whatever they think, they're going to realize after the fact, ooh, shit.
That's the issue. What Ange said was like the best point. It's like he doesn't care who it is. Like I feel like with a lot of people, it's like even if like they hear something that they don't agree with, whether right or left, they still like won't change. Especially in like the left side of things, they'll hear something and they like refuse to believe it. Like, but like, as Ange said, it's just like you don't give a shit who's running the country as long as they have like these principles. Like we want.
Right.
For
I'm
example,
happy
if
to change my
Obama
mind.
was saying it was doing the same stuff that Trump did, I would vote for him.
Even if he was a
Exactly. Who
Democrat.
cares?
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
as-
But
even
the
as a Democrat.
problem is it's a very, they're all alike. The people like Obama and the people like Biden, whatever, they love war. You have to look why. Follow the money. It's like anything. It's like any corrupt thing. You have to follow the money. These people love war. Trump was the only person and the only president we've seen in the past 2 decades that think war is a waste of time and a waste of money. And he makes his stance very clear on that. He will not go to war unless he has to.
Right, but at the same time, he'll invest in our military because
Right, because he believes strength through peace
Well,
is
that's how
strength.
you prevent
exactly,
war.
Exactly.
That's how you prevent
Through
war.
peace
It's
is through strength is peace, or peace is strength. Whatever that saying is, he says. That is truth. But again, they want to just the first week Biden was in office, he did an airstrike to Syria that killed tons of innocent people. In 4 years, Trump, he didn't do one airstrike. One drone strike. This guy came in.
Well, yeah, he did.
no,
he
he
did on
killed.
the bases and
He
stuff.
Yeah,
killed
but he-
against ISIS. They killed, but it was very dialed in. They didn't
Exactly.
kill
It
any
was
innocent people.
Specific, yeah.
It wasn't like weddings like Obama. Obama shot down like weddings that people killed innocent people. The first week this piece of shit came in and killed a bunch of innocent people down in Syria.
No, his first move was to shut off the Keystone Pipeline.
That
just
he
to-
promised that he wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. Just so the prices of everything went fucking. That's what sparked all the inflation. His second move was to pull everybody out of Afghanistan on a whim, getting Americans
50
killed.
Do you know that Afghanistan is the #1 arsenal dealer in the world?
Yeah, because they're
with
selling all
our
our
military
shit.
with
It's
50
literally
billion.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's literally
The
ridiculous.
more I think about it, and
It's all business.
this year I told myself, that I hate talking about it. I really do. Like, I really don't like talking about it. But I think it's our duty as citizens and Americans and people of the platform to start speaking. Because in 2020, or the last election, when was it?
2020, yeah.
We were afraid to talk about it. And that silence is what affected the election. That fear of cancellation throughout the country of any people with the platform, because we didn't want to talk about it. We did a little bit in silence. We murmured it.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, I think it's important to hold our, because it's not just for us, it's for your kids.
Right.
I don't look, when I start talking, I don't care if I don't care if a couple of people cancel Nutra. I don't care. It's for your kids. If I can get 10 people to vote because the shit I'm saying, fine.
Right.
I'll take that with your 2 cancellations for Nutra. Because honest to God, dude. Honestly,
yeah, no, really. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a duty at this point because
It
it's
is.
so critical that this next election.
And to be fair, where I stand, I'm good with Vivek. I'm good with Trump, and I'm good with RFK. I'm good with all three of those. If any of those three.
What
go
about
up,
Nikki Haley? I haven't heard.
No,
I don't even
absolutely
listen.
not. Absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely not.
Bad.
I'm good with all
Fake.
three of those. So we have a good, strong, like we have people who could do the job. Just if you think that Biden, I don't even think will live.
He's
for
not
4 more
even,
years.
dude. He's not even running the country. first
I
of
say
all.
this to people all the time, and it sounds like stupid, like not like intelligent thing to say. But has anybody watched like a movie or a TV show that shows like behind the scenes of the White House?
No.
What do you mean? You've never seen like a TV show, like anything?
Like a fiction.
Yeah, like exactly like a fiction show that just show like it emulates like
fiction,
what life is like
yeah.
for the president in the Oval Office. I'm pretty sure that's pretty close to like reality. Not exactly, but bottom line is there's shot calling that happens every minute of the day, right? Trump is known to have been working first one up, last one out the entire time, right? He golfed here and there, but he was always on, right? Calling shots all the time. Look at Biden and tell me he's the one calling the shots right now for the country.
Zero chance.
Ridiculous.
It's
He can't even
impossible.
hold a conversation like this in
It's
this
impossible.
room. He doesn't know what's going on. Who's calling the shots? Can I know?
Yeah.
Nobody
it's a
knows,
deep-
but
no,
somebody
ev-
is.
No,
Somebody's
that's the
calling it.
problem.
He is not calling the
Everyone
shots.
knows and no one can say it. It's the deep state. It's so obvious. It's Blackstone. It's the people with all the money. Dude,
It's who it
I'll
is.
tell you.
You
Do
know
I
who
go
it
in my
is.
conspiracy? I mean, I think Obama is literally in the White House running everything.
no, of course, no.
I
That's,
don't know.
It's a
Someone
group.
is, dude.
It's a group.
No, it's
multiple
it's a
people.
group. But you have to look. It's so easy to find corruption in this world. It's so easy. You just follow the dollars. That's it. Who owns this company? Who's funding the super PAC? Okay, that super PAC is this. Go up the ladder. Blackstone owns this. It's just, it's so obvious and it's in our face. But
It's
no
in
one.
plain sight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What Andrew just said is like a blatant fact. It's like you could be right, left, middle, whatever, anything, an alien. That statement you just made about like running the thing is a literal fact. If you cannot see that, there's like you're completely
he's
lost.
He's not
It's
making
impossible.
a single decision himself. He is not making a decision. You can't. He can't.
Every decision.
My grandmother has Alzheimer's. Imagine her making decisions like that affect the world.
every,
know,
and
it's
every
bad.
decision he makes it seems to be the wrong one.
Dude, watch videos of Biden 5-10 years ago. Talk.
Way sharper.
Yes, and then listen to him now. It's sad. He has cognitive
Yeah.
He had
degradation.
he
He's
has
got a
he had
problem.
2 brain aneurysms. 2.
Right. And then-
Obviously, he has. Look at this guy.
And they'll look at you in the face and say there's nothing wrong with him.
It's like
Are you fucking serious?
We
Am I
want him to
blind?
do
you,
well.
You're looking at me and telling me that the sky is purple. That's
you
what you're
want
doing.
him to do well too. It's not like we don't like want him to like
exactly.
be like terrible.
If he did the same things that, like the same policies or similar that Trump did as far as like fiscal policy and
Energy.
international and
Yeah.
all that shit, foreign relations and everything, I would be all for him. I could care less if it's
or
him.
if he just had
There
more
is no-
energy, it's like
Yeah,
at least
there
more
is
alive.
talk about weak.
There's no-
as fuck.
If you look at the genre of politics, the genre of decision making of people, like what people care about, like war, world politics, the economy, whatever. He didn't do not one thing right at any of the categories.
Right,
You
and-
can't say he did one thing.
And
good
then
in
they're
his 3 years.
promoting Bidenomics, like he had like good. That's
30
them lying to you and telling you that down is up, up is down, 1 + 1 is 3.
$34 trillion. I'm not going to say that, Trump pulled money too. Like the printing problem is a problem for sure. But Biden is out of control. $200 billion to Ukraine that we don't know what the fuck that's for. I mean, I don't want to keep going down. I want to continue the podcast and other stuff.
I have one question: Would Russia have invaded Ukraine if Trump was in office?
No.
No way.
Yeah,
Done.
definitely not.
All that money that you're talking about that got spent there wouldn't have had to get spent because it would have been prevented.
Yeah.
And just so people because when I talk about this a little bit, people don't understand how much $200 billion is compared to like what we spend on. Dude, our FDA budget is like $1.5 billion. There's a couple of these other things you think that are like huge budgets, like $2-3 billion. $200 billion would cure homeless in this country.
No, I thought it was $20 billion.
No,
I
but
saw that. I saw.
I'm
that.
just saying, like, just so
I
you-
saw a thing that literally the other day that said $20 billion would solve homelessness in this country overnight. Like
the
you could
wall,
fix it.
the wall down there in to secure our border was like $40 billion.
Right.
You're talking the spending is ridiculous.
On shit that doesn't have anything to do with us.
You're
really.
gonna give illegal immigrants a health care for free. when you have veterans in the street,
I'll
what
tell
the
you
fuck are
bullshit
we
about-
talking about?
Did you hear in New York? Christine told me this.
They
the other
shut the school down to
Yes.
take the immigrants. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
So now the kids have to do school from home while the people who just came in have the classroom space.
Massachusetts.
Are you fucking
Wow.
serious?
Yeah,
Massachusetts-
their argument is, oh well, like the kids have the opportunity to go from home. These people like don't have a place, so like they.
I
need to go
get
there.
that, and it's sad. But why the fuck did you? They shouldn't. That's
They
where we
shouldn't
don't have the
have been let in.
infrastructure.
Exactly.
Plan. That's I don't have. I love people from other countries. I love them. I love them. But it can't be at this rate with no fucking plan.
And then you look at the FBI, and the leader of the FBI 2 weeks ago said that there is the most alarming terrorist attacks that are happening throughout the country that is just imminent. They're telling people to stay away from cities. They're telling people to stay away from high metropolitan areas because the red alerts all over the country is extreme. Dude, we don't know who these fucking people are. How are you supposed to know? There's going to be a 9/11 attack type of in the next year or two, and it's going to be because of what happened the past 3 years. And they're going to blame it on that president, but it wasn't. It was Biden's fault for letting 12, dude, to put into perspective, 12 million people in the past 3 years is more in the past like 15 years combined.
Right. I know.
It was like 400,000 a year, 500,000 a year, 12
Dude,
million.
they're incentivizing people to come. That's the thing, right? Do you know if you came over the border, what you come over, there's no more like you gotta go over, go under, through the river, through the fucking mountains. You walk right through the front door. They let you in. You apply for asylum right then and there. There's like a processing center. They hand you a fucking work visa for like 1 or 2 years, a license, all the shit you need to be fine. Meanwhile, there's people who've been here for like 15, 20 years who have been, getting paid, like owning homes, doing this, doing that. They still don't have work visas and all that stuff.
What about
How is that? But if you came, they'd be better off going back, coming through Mexico, getting a work visa, and then going through the process. It's literally,
We're in the rabbit hole.
yeah, no, I mean, we can go on. It's literally ridiculous. But anyway, so what were we talking about?
It gets me so
We're
fucked
talking
up.
about lessons from 2023, but we can
But-
segue that. Do you
Yeah,
have a
but
final
the,
point?
the reason why I think it's
Wrap it
important
up.
is that 2024 is that a goal of yours in 2024 should be is to do some research into politics, do some research into what's been happening and what's going to happen, and just really vote responsibly. If you've never voted before, do yourself a favor and vote this year, because I know so many people haven't voted. This should be the year you're gonna vote and do some more research. That's all I'm gonna say.
Cool. Next, segueing into the next topic. What are your plans or goals for 2024, and what are you most excited for to execute on?
I mean, I got a ton. I actually wrote down a list.
Goals are. I have personal goals and business goals.
Let's hear 'em
Personal,
both.
personal goals. I want to be a better partner to my brothers. I want to be a better son to my dad. I want to be more involved in certain things in community. I want to like things that I'm passionate about, like dogs and stuff like that. I want to be more invested in that community. In terms of like business and business development, I got to be more disciplined. I'm just not a disciplined person with my eating, stuff like that. I think there's just a lot of stuff. I look back at 23 and I was like, oh shit, there's a lot of room for improvement. And I'm just going to take all that stuff that I looked at, like, oh, I sucked at my discipline there. I was okay there. I wasn't that good there, and just kind of double down this year. So that's like my general.
Yeah. I wrote some down, actually. I wrote January 1st, 2024.
Mike.
Oh, January 1st, 2024, 2:38 p.m. I wrote down my 2024 goals, and I'll summarize. So, lift 5 days a week for the whole year, cardio 6 to 7 days a week, track macros daily, stay on a diet, stay on like this track, create a new lifestyle of exercise and diet no matter what's going on, reach my weight goal of 260 to 270 in that range, 18% body fat if I get there. Be present when at home with family. Don't carry my phone around when I'm with my kids. Have family dinner with no iPads or anything like that at least 1 day a week. Have 2 date nights per month. Then I went into business stuff like grow, Nutrate 40%, a bunch of, goals within there. I wrote down goals for the restaurants, goals for Premier, goals for real estate. But those are just some general ideas, and I've been trying to stick to it. So we started doing a family night every Tuesday night. Like my wife cooks dinner, and then we all sit with the family. We ask like how the day's going, like little kick it old school. Before one night I looked around, we were all eating dinner. Everybody was on their phone and their iPad, like watching whatever they were watching while we were eating, and I was like, shit, this is bad. I looked around, and I was doing the same. I do that too, and so we do that Tuesday nights. And the date night thing is fucking tough. It's fucking tough to like do that consistently. So we're actually going on, one tonight and trying to like be proactive about it. Like at least 1 to 2 a month, right?
Yeah.
It should be doable, but you realize like once things start rolling, you get caught up in life and shit, and you just don't want to go, or you just don't
Put
think
you on
about
the
it.
calendar, right? That's the fucking name of the game.
Dude, if it's not on the calendar, not doing it. That's like
Doesn't
that's
count.
my like.
Yeah, and I don't
Tino's
feel
got
bad
a
about it either.
debilitating.
Yeah.
Tino. Let's talk about Tino's debilitating case of not putting things in.
That should be on your 2024.
These are
bucket
positive
list.
goals of 2024.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's try using the calendar. His thing is, I told you 3 weeks ago. So you told me 3 weeks ago in the middle of a conversation. Since then, 3 weeks ago literally felt like last year.
Yeah.
Right? If it doesn't go, I literally wake up or the night before I look at my calendar for the next day and I plan out like where I'm going and what I'm doing.
You just have to have a mental rule. If I don't put this on the calendar, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't happen. Right? And there's like
Not real. Yeah.
there's this like mental block that's happening on that side of the couch with the calendar, but he's working on it. But honestly, Tino's goals that he talked about, he's been doing.
Yeah.
You could tell there's been so far this year has been a difference. The key is most people, I forget what it is, like 85-90% of people by February 1st they drop off.
Yeah.
Well, I think the bigger issue is most people aren't self-aware,
Yeah.
right? Like, do you have enough awareness and confidence in yourself and vulnerability to look back at the year and be realistic and honest about what happened?
There's another thing that we're gonna promise this year is we're gonna put our phones on
I
silent.
can't believe that's been happening the whole episode.
I didn't even notice it till just now.
I mean, it's shocking.
I didn't even notice it.
Oh, moment of silence. Moment.
Actually,
Okay,
I
back.
wrote
We're
down,
back.
I wrote down my ins and outs too.
Save it.
Forgot it.
We're on Luch now.
Save it. I forget what I was gonna say. I'm done. Shut my microphone off.
Yeah. Turn it off right
You
now.
guys need to go to church more this year.
Here we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Calendar.
You do.
You start using the calendar, show your ringer off, and then we can talk about church.
Till that happens.
That's for you guys. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I'm a church guy.
You're
I
a
read
man
the
of
Where
God.
Bible.
am I?
What do you do?
Andrew reads the Bible.
No, he doesn't.
I am the Bible.
I gave
Dude.
He
him-
prays.
Angelo wrote the Bible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I participated
And the
in writing.
Declaration of
I was
Independence.
the ghostwriter for it.
And Martin Luther King's speech.
Yes.
What the
yeah.
fuck are we
I had
talking
a
about
dream.
since we got
Your goals.
your
your
dinged
goals,
off track?
Your goals for your personal goals for
I
2024.
don't
Or
know off the top of my head. I don't want to
plans.
pull up my phone and like read a list. But I think where I was going was having the self-awareness to actually believe what the fuck actually happened. Like I got an email. It was like an Andy Frisella bite. And it was like, be aware of being over positive, right? Like being
I don't think we got that issue.
no, not that issue, but you could be oblivious to like what's actually happening, because you're just overly positive, right? Like, or overly negative. Like, you just need to see things for the way they are, and if you're not sure how it is, ask other people because they see you the way you are, right? Like the way you see yourself is completely different than the way other people see you, right? Like, that's the best way to find out where you're really at. Trusted people, not somebody who has like a friggin' vendetta against you, but like somebody who you really trust. Maybe it's your parents, your best friend. Like, how do you think I did in this area this year? Do you think I can improve? How was I as a friend to you, right? Like, there's definitely areas you can improve, and it's not all about money either, right? It's family, relationships, financials, personal health. There's a million different things, and weigh yourself in each area and try and just take a step forward in every single one.
Yeah. One thing I'm pumped about is that we're all on the same track right now for health and lifestyle. For the first time ever, is that like we're trying to we're really focused on our personal development, all three at the same time.
I think beards were important in that role.
Yeah, no, this year the plan's to get jacked and tatted.
Yeah. So I was the first one
Bearded,
to get
jacked,
tattoos
and
when I was
tatted.
17, and they would all shit on me. Now, finally, years later, they're trying like
I'm gonna
now
get
they're on the
jacked.
tattoo train.
Well,
With the
I'm on the
moment
tattoo train
it's
too,
known
so.
officially that I'm jacked, I'm gonna get like put to sleep and then just full
body?
2 full sleeves one time. Extreme, one way or the other.
The hair.
You'd be like white as a ghost after that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of shit on my outs too. Like, just I do so much stupid shit. Like I'll go to when I go to the gym,
Positivity.
I'll sit in my car for like 10, 15 minutes before I get out and go.
Yeah.
Like that needs to stop. I should go. Like when I get there, just get out and go.
I
waste
noticed
so
that.
much time.
I sometimes see you
we
pull
call
in.
that, me and Lucho call that time in transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta stop doing that. I gotta stop being defensive of my brothers. Gotta keep my car cleaner. I gotta stop snoozing my alarm. I gotta stop reading half books and not finishing them. I mean, a lot of that comes with like the interest of the book, but being on my phone at night, there's so much like little shit. It's like the little shit, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But that's good. That's where
You got to write it down. You got to make it real.
We'll forget about
You
that.
can't just subconsciously think about it,
I
though,
don't know
right?
what-
Like writing
But
it down.
I think people think sometimes that goals have to be these huge things. Like I gotta make $1 billion, and I got
That's
these
not even a
extreme.
goal.
No, but you know what I'm saying? It's like extreme.
Yeah.
Some of the shit that some of the stuff that you got to look at, you're ridiculous. Some of the stuff that you have to look at is actually the little shit. It's like wake up 30 minutes earlier. That doesn't seem like this major goal, but it could change a lot of shit.
Well, that thing gets you to that mark.
Exactly.
$1 billion is just like a made up thing that I feel like people like amateurs.
But you
say.
see what I'm saying though, right? Like if you say I'm gonna get not be on my phone at night. Now because that you're gonna be a better partner to your partner. You know what I'm saying? Or going to the like. There's always these little things. Those small things matter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's what actually gets you to the goals. Is these small, minute changes.
Yeah.
Right. There's no magic pill.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for sure. I've been searching for it.
Yeah.
Doesn't do it.
That was a 2023 put a stamp on it. There is no magic pill. There's no shortcut.
Dude.
There's no magic pill.
Yeah.
You don't get what you don't deserve. You don't get what you didn't earn.
Yeah.
You don't exceed your financials, and your life is not going to exceed your level of personal development.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
That's a fact.
I also think a tip for 2024 for people who are in business, so business owners specifically, if you're trying to grow this year, you have to get creative in your strategy to grow. Because if you're relying on paid, like a lot of companies are, like on the e-commerce space, whatever, that they're focused on paid media, Facebook, Google, TikTok spend, all this stuff, it's getting very expensive. And it's been getting ever expensive since the iOS 14 update, I think a year or two ago. So people have to start getting creative this year. And I know we are, and we're just trying to stay ahead of it. And again, I don't think you can rely on what we did in 23. I think there has to be some adjustments to hit those new milestones. Think about new channels. In every business, it's a little bit different. We're going to start doing more demos, for example, hand-to-hand combat to get sales, considering doing call center more style, considering sponsoring more events to get in front of more people, aligning ourselves with the different industries. That kind of makes sense for us. You have to start getting creative this year because, again, the spend is getting so expensive to be profitable that you can't rely on that anymore. Years ago, that could have been a strategy, but nowadays, unless your profit margins are majorly huge, I don't think you're going to be able to survive in 24 with just relying on that type of strategy with those channels.
Yeah. And things are changing lightning speed everywhere.
Yep. Even with influencer marketing is changing by the month. If you 2 years ago was working with influencer marketers, not working now. A year ago, TikTok was huge because the algorithm was pushing. Now it's not. Cecilia has 150,000 followers and she doesn't get shit for engagement now.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 years ago, she had 2 videos get 10 million views.
Right.
It's all because just everything is shifting so fast. And there's interesting things I'm looking at now. I'm posting more on LinkedIn, for example, now, because LinkedIn's a great strategy that not many people are taking
LinkedIn's
advantage
huge.
of. And we have a great platform for LinkedIn. We just don't use it.
Right.
But business owners and people are looking for that stuff on LinkedIn. We should start posting there. So I'm going to focus some attention there this year. The past couple weeks, I think I posted like 6 or 7 times. So there's I just want people to be aware that and be a little bit more open-minded that this year you got to get creative. That's my message there.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. I think think that was good, right? Anything else we want to add?
I don't know, a little all over the place, but
It was a year recap, brain dump.
yeah.
And a political rant.
Yeah, needed to be said though.
It need to be said, dude. If you're talking about 2023 goals and 2024 goals, and you're not voting, and you plan to not vote, you're the problem.
Yeah, you're the problem.
You're the problem. Plain and simple. Look yourself in the mirror.
All right, that's a wrap.
All right.